Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for tuning in to the MissManual podcast. My name is Gabby here, and thanks for introducing me, Sean. Today I'm going to talk about something a little different, so I'm just going to go ahead and go on my own rant today. And today we're going to talk a little bit about fear, right? I think MissManual itself talks a lot about being a strong and confident woman and empowering them and like inspiring these girls to go out and conquer all of these things that society says that we either can't or that people say that we can't do. Like, we don't want anything in our way to stop us. And on the podcast, we've hosted so many wonderful, strong, powerful girls, and I just want people to know that you too can be fearless and strong and confident. And I'm here to have just a little bit of insight, because I went from being this super shy, super scared young girl who was too scared to go buy a candy bar in the gas station because I was scared to talk to people, to someone who's now sharing their story all across the internet for millions and thousands or however many people want to see and hear. So I actually have a little paper that I wrote down because I've tried to record this podcast like 3 times and I kept losing track and really hard to stay on topic. So I actually wrote down notes and everything that I wanted to go over. And I always encourage you to do the same, is to journal and to write, and it does nothing but benefit and help me just keep my thoughts clear and to keep myself focused. So one thing that I would think when I was younger is that I used to think that people were born fearless, right? Like, I would see like these Olympic athletes or these business people or just these people out there conquering stuff, and I was like, damn, like I wish I was born like that. Like, damn, that'd be dope. But like I just used to think that people were just born that way. They were born into being fearless, but they're not actually. Being confident and strong within yourself is something that is grown and something that's earned and something that you guys like have to go through fear and conquer through fear to get to that level. But yeah, so as a kid from like 0 to 13, I was this super shy girl. I was so scared of everything. I didn't want to talk to people. My mom used to give me cash to go into the gas station to buy candy, and I was like, no, I'm not going. Like, I do not want to go in there. I do not want to ask for people. What do I do when he's gonna ask like if I want change? I don't know what to do. Like I would like panic on the inside. I would like get all sweaty and I'm like, oh no, I'm like, no, I don't want to go. Like, the candy was not worth it. And eventually it like got a little better, and what ended up happening was that around 14 my dad died and we had to move, and I figured, cool, like I don't want to be this person anymore, like I'm gonna try and do something different. And luckily, like, I was really into sports, so I was always surrounded by people, and like I would always do like silly things, and I noticed that people would like it, so I would just keep doing these silly, outrageous like things, whether or not people looked at me weird or I laughed at it or whatever, right? But I know that it made me feel good, so I was like, cool, I'm like gonna keep doing this, like this is me, like yeah. And eventually, like I just got to this point where I was just really confident in myself and these things that I could do, so I just like kind of kept going. But now that I'm older, I'm able to like reflect upon it and figure out and how I got to where I am, and have the ability to understand myself as a young girl and as myself now, and how far I got from point A to point B. And I just wanted to be here to give you guys a little bit of insight. So I believe that we all have limitations, but the only limitations that we really have are the ones that we put on ourselves, whether or not we've done something to make us think that we can't do something, or society says that we can't do something. Like, the only real rules and the only real limitations are the ones that we put on ourselves. So what is fear? Fear, if you think about it, is just like an instinct, right? Like, your brain's like, oh, don't go in that fast car, you like could die, like don't do that. Like, we want to live a long time, right? Like, your brain is meant to like keep you alive as long as possible, and is always willing to take the path of least resistance. That's what your brain is meant to do, right? So now that like, and fear is one of these emotions, and each emotion is not a life predictor or whatever, but your emotions are just messages that you should read and acknowledge and recognize, but it doesn't mean you have to do with what they say, right? And everyone has fear. It's not like some people are just born without it. Like, everyone has fear. It's normal to have fear. It's actually healthy to have fear, because fear can be turned into excitement, and it can be like used as a motivator, like the fear of being broke or the fear of being stagnant. Like, I personally have a fear of being in the exact same position that I am right now. I'm afraid of being in this exact same position next year. Like, no growth. Like, I have fear of not growing and not changing. Like, I have goals that I want to go and accomplish, and I'm scared to not do them. Like, I'm scared to be too scared to go do them, if that makes sense. Like, I know that, like, I should deserve, and I'm going to ask more out of life, that I'm not going to let these things stop me. I'm going to be disappointed in myself if I do. And I think just being aware of fear and what it is and understanding what it does really helps not only me, but everybody else, because it takes away the power that fear has over us. Like, once you're aware of like what, like, let's say like in a closet, it's like bedtime and you're trying to sleep and there's like this stuff in the closet and you're like, oh no, what is that? Is that someone, is that a ninja? He's like, come get me. And then you get it, you turn the light off and you open the door, you're like, oh, okay, cool. It's just like my pajamas that I like left on the floor. It's hanging on like the door. Like, once you're aware of what it is and able to understand it, it's not so scary. And you take away the power that it has over you. And I encourage all of you, even after this podcast, if you really feel motivated, to go out and to really research fear and all your emotions and like yourself and your brain and how it all works. I genuinely like think everyone could benefit from doing that, because I think like our brain and our body is an amazing thing. It really is. The brain is more powerful than any computer. Like, I just feel like we aren't taught about ourselves. Like, we are incredible creatures and we have potential and power inside of each and every single one of us that we just have to touch and unlock. And I encourage all of you to go out there, just do a little bit of research, do a little bit of meditating. Like, I know it sounds cheesy, like, oh, you know, Gabby, you'll meditate. Like, I'm serious, okay? Like, I got to where I am today because of Tony Robbins and some law of attraction and some meditating and like feeling like myself and my energy. And I really encourage all of you to do that. Back to fear though. So yes, like, everyone has fear. Strong people don't not have fear. They have fear, whether it's fear of failing or fear of like, that's a scary thing that I'm just about to go do, or wow, like, what if I break my whole car, like taking out this engine? They recognize it, but they don't let the fears dictate how they're gonna live their life. Like, people are like, if you're able to see fear, recognize it, you can like put it down, be like, stay, don't mess with me anymore. I'm gonna go do this thing that I want to go do. That's like how I deal with fear. We just kind of like go do these things anyway. Like, just do it. Like, I know it's real Shia LaBeouf or whatever, he says just do it, but really, like you're gonna have fear, you should recognize it, but then just go do it anyway. And if you like want to become this strong woman, if you want to be fearless, like I reckon, like, that's what you have to do. Like, you have to work through fear to become this person. And when you attack, well, not even attack fear, but as you, like, let's say you like want to work on your car, but you're too scared to like kind of like do it because you don't know where to start, you're afraid of breaking it. Like, I recommend starting small. I recommend having someone there to guide you, but not to do it for you. Like, start with changing your oil, start with taking a wheel on and off, and then you'll get confident with yourself, like, oh wow, I just did that. And then you have the ability, when you are scared, to look back on the things that you've already conquered, to be like, this fear is stupid because I've already done this before, right? And it'll really take away the power that fear has over you, because it's like, no, like, I've done this before, you're just being like trying to protect me from whatever could happen. And the more you do it, the more you go and conquer this fear and you go do these things that you want to do anyway, the easier it becomes. Like, when I was younger, I always wanted to go snowboarding. I always wanted to go snowboarding, but I like never thought that I had the money. I never thought that I had the ability. I thought I was too old to do it. And I started snowboarding 2 years ago, and it was like the best decision ever. Like, if you really want to go do something, you'll find a way to go do it. Just don't let your fear stop you. Like, because if you think it's too expensive, like, you can buy used equipment on eBay, you can buy old things, like, you can get like, maybe, okay, lift passes or whatever, like, that's hard to do. But you don't even have to pay for like lessons. Like you can learn things off the internet nowadays. Like YouTube is like readily available. Like there's ways around these fears that say you can't do things. But yes, I definitely recommend starting with like small fears that you may have, and conquering those small ones first. Get some momentum going up, and then in no time you'll be unstoppable. Like I wasn't just taking engines out my first year of like working on cars. Like I started with simple stuff like oil filters and changing my oil and air filters and doing belts, and then started to do headlights, and then I had to do like my whole front end at one point. Like, I mean, yes, I like was very thankful that I did have friends there who were experienced and were able to help guide me and like, oh, this is a wrench, this is a ratchet, like you need to use the right size. But at the same time, you can find all of this on the internet nowadays. So I'm definitely telling you, like, the internet is an amazing, amazing tool. And if you just, and your body and your mind and the internet are just amazing tools that if you can just use properly, you can find out a lot of information and tap into that untapped power that you have within inside you, and just be the person that you were meant to be, and not to let these fears anymore stop you. Like some common fears that even I still have today is I'm too old, I don't have enough money, I'm not good enough, like what if I break it, what if I hurt myself? Like, okay, cool, you could hurt yourself, but your body is also really strong. Yes, you may not have enough money, but money is not the only resource in the world. Like, money is just a tool to get things, and if you don't have the right tool, you'll either go out and find another tool, or you'll find ways or people that have like that tool. Like, money isn't like the end all be all factor. Like, there are other ways around it. And then another thing is, like, if you're not good enough, then practice. Like, no Olympic champion is a champion because he didn't practice. Like, go practice in your yard, go like get more confident. Like, if you want to go jump off a jump, but you're like, oh, that's a really big jump, like go build a smaller one. Start small, get the momentum, feel comfortable, then conquer the next one. And that is my advice to you guys. I hope this podcast was a little bit more direct, short, and impactful for you. Comment below if you want to hear more stuff like this. Like, I have a lot of like stuff in my brain, not just about fear, but about life and like self in general, that I think could benefit all of you strong ladies out there, all of you awesome people out there that like want more out of life, that you're asking more for life. Just let me know what you guys think. I'm really open to hear what you guys have to say. And also, like, support MissManual, because the more that we get, the more we can put back into these podcasts. Like, your support and doing this for you guys means the world to me. Like, being able to help you guys and give a little bit of more insight and to help you feel good inside of yourself is all I could really ask for. And, well, not really all that I can ask for, but all that I like really want to do is to be able to help you guys. And the fact that you're out there listening, clicking, and loving and sharing everything means the world to me. But yeah, don't be afraid to share, don't be afraid to support. I love you guys so much, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Gabby, and this is my fear, not my fear on podcast, my podcast on fear and how to conquer that. All right, thanks guys, love you, bye.